do a very quick review of the content that we covered in our last tutorial. First is last time we used the idea to analyze the account receivable data, and we identified some risks, the potential risks that may exist in the account receivable data, and we have run some analysis to identify some of these risks. For example, we run the age analysis to identify the accounts receivables that are not properly aged, like the late account receivables. And we also use some filters to find the inappropriately allocated credits and payments, like the negative accounts receivables. Also, we have identified some improper classified amounts, the credit amounts in the account receivables. And we use the summarization function to analyze the amount of account receivables according to the customers. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to identify the credits that granted to customers that are likely to default. Okay. Here, so first you open the idea, and you should be able to find this two data sets: the account receivable data and the customer data. So everyone can see these two data sets in idea, right? Okay, so in order to identify the account receivables that grant to the clients that may default the payment, we may try to join the account receivable table and the customer master table to see whether we grant any account receivables to the customers that are not listed in the customer master table. Okay? As the process actually here is very similar to in the ACL, we do the drawing. So I just want to show you how to use this function in the idea. Okay? Actually, this version of idea is different from yours, so there may be some different locations of the functions. Because, for example, firstly, when you want to join two tables, in your version, you should find join function in the File menu. When you click File, you should be able to, not here, you should be able to find a function called join database, but it's not here. Try to find, have you found it? Yeah, okay. So here it is in the analysis, it's join. Okay, when you click this function, you will see this dialog box, right? First, it lists that the table. Make sure the table you are active is the account receivable table. So here it will show that primary database is the account receivable database, right? Then here we need to add a secondary database to this function. So here you need to define the secondary database, and then you just need to click select and select the customer master table as the secondary database. Then you click OK. It will show here. Indicate that the secondary database is the customer master table. Okay? Okay, then here, after this, there is another button called Match. When you click it, it will ask you to find the piece that exist in both tables to use to join the table. Here actually the keys that we can use here is the account number. So you just click this blank in the box in the primary field. It's just account number. And then you could also choose different fields here when you click it. But here in this case, it is account number, so you just choose the account number. And then for the secondary database, you also need to click this box. It will show the account number too. Okay? So this is the way we set up the keys to join the two data sets. Okay? Database. And our secondary database is the customer master database. And this is our secondary database. And we have some, you can see that we have some data that exists in both databases, like this. That means that the customers that exist in the account receivable data and also exist in the customer master data, right? And also for this data that exists only in the secondary database. That means the customers that exist in the customer master data, but do not exist in the account receivable data. Okay? And here there are some data here only exist in the there are some customer only exist in the account receivable data, but not listed in the customer master data. And actually this is the data we want to figure out, we want to find, right? So let's take a look at these options. The first option is match only, which will show this kind of data that exists in both data sets. Okay? And the second option is records with no secondary match. So it shows this subset of data. It exists only in the primary data set, but not in the secondary data set. And the third option is record with no primary match. That shows this kind of data that exists only in the secondary data set, but not in the primary data set. While the fourth option is all records in primary file. It will extract this data that exists, all the data that exists in the primary file, including the data existing in both files. And the last option is all records in both files. Then it will return all the records that exist in both files. Okay? So in this case, which option we need to choose?
Second. The records with no secondary.
Yes, the record with no secondary match. Okay? So we just choose this and choose OK. Okay, so you can see that it creates a new database called join database, and it includes 72 records. And all these 72 records means that these customers only at these transactions only exist in the accounts receivable transaction, but the customers are not listed in the customer master file. So these are the customers we want to focus. And you can see that all these are in the these records are in the transaction level. So you don't know how many customers that are not listed in the customer file and exist in the account receivable data. To aggregate this data in the customer level, you could use the summarization function here like this. In the analysis, use summarization. I think it's also in your analysis menu. Okay? Just choose summarization. You can see that here. Just to the fields to summarize, we just need to choose the account number, and then the numeric fields to total, we could choose the gross amount to total the amount for each customer. Okay. And then you just need to click OK. Then it will create a new table so that there are in total 15 customers that exist in the account receivable data but not listed in the customer master file. And also it calculates the total amount for each customer, this kind of customer. So you may want to report this, and you may want to do further investigation to the customers that have extremely large amount. Okay? Okay. So this is for the account receivable analysis to figure out the account receivables that grant to the customers that have an opportunity to default. And another function I want to show you here is that even though here in this class we're talking about to do the analysis to the whole population of data, but in reality, in your future job, you may still need to do some sampling to the population, to the account receivable, account payable. So I'm going to show you how to use IDEA to help you to do the sampling. Actually, I remember in your audit concept course, you should learn something about audit sampling. And at that lecture, the Professor Brown is out of town, so I gave this lecture to you. I'm not sure whether you remember that. In that course, I showed you how to use ACL to do the random sampling and statistical sampling. Now, I'm going to show you this function in IDEA. Okay? So I think in your menu, you should see a menu for the sample, right? Is the sampling. And then when you click that menu, you should find a random sample.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Then you just click it. It's very simple. Just here you just choose the number of records to select. For example, we want to choose a sample that contains like 20 records. Here we just need to choose 20.
It's only 15.
Oh, sorry. Let's go back to the account receivable data. Okay, and then go to the random sampling again. Okay. 1 minute. Just double click the account receivable, and here you should have the table, and then just choose the random sampling again, and set the number of records to select equals to 20. And then here you can see there is a random number seed. You don't need to change this, it's a randomly assigned number. And then you may set the starting points. Here we just want to cover all the records, so we set starting record as 1 and ending record as 300. And you could also choose allow duplicate record, but now we just want to exclude this duplicate choice. And then we just need to click OK. Then you can see that a database is created showing there are this 20 records that randomly choose from the account receivable data set. Okay? Okay, so any questions now? Okay, so that's all the analysis I want to share with you for the account receivable data. And in the next week, we are going to start the analysis of the account payable data. So, and also hopefully we can finish the IDEA tutorial next week, and I will give you some assignment next week. Okay. Okay. Next.
Just a couple questions. We posted, is everyone okay on their projects, either with the accounting